Emerson Royal. Pulisic with the cross, just too high for Morata.
Yes, a heavy cross. We're 3 against 3 in the middle of the box. That will happen often, especially if one in between Leao and Pulisic will reach the byline there. There will be at least 3 players in the box.
There is the Inter senior management. Pepe Marotta is now not only CEO for sport, he's also the club president. Paulo Fonseca, we saw a few moments ago, has continued to conduct himself with real class and dignity despite everyone speculating about his job. Pulisic driving through, still Pulisic, he's got there and he's scored! It is Milan who lead early in the derby this time, and after a brilliant start to the season, Christian Pulisic just keeps on delivering.
Yes, Patrick, this man is always making the difference for AC Milan. Last year, this season as well. Big games for big men, and Pulisic, again, he's been decisive for AC Milan after an absolutely brilliant start. After 10 minutes, driving the ball in between players, nobody can touch him. Can see here, don't know if they're blaming about an handball, but here, too soft. Acerbi, Pavard. Don't think there's anything on. And Pulisic scored a brilliant solo goal.
Determination, pace, close control, and above all that cutting edge. Christian Pulisic already has 4 goals at the start of this season, and this one is extremely significant. He struck here against Liverpool early on. That ended up being in vain. He hopes this time around it will be the goal that propels Milan to a first derby victory in 7.
Yes, incredible. There were plenty of Inter players around him, and nobody went and tackled him. Sometimes you have to be maybe a bit nasty, you know, going for the physical contact with him. Barella is saying that probably there is an handball, but they already checked, I think.
Manuel, you're a defender. How do you strike the balance? We saw Pavard there, reluctant to make a challenge for fear of giving away a penalty. Surely there comes a time when you have to make that call, put a challenge in, even if it means giving away a penalty.
Yeah, I think, yes, you have to fall him earlier, because as soon as he gets some speed on the ball, he's so good when he's driving a speed. I think either Çalhanoğlu or Mkhitaryan were too soft, then defender, especially when he's driving to you in the box. You don't have any choice.
Theo Hernandez got a nudge there from Denzel Dumfries. Football is a strange game, it's all about momentum. People have already been writing Paulo Fonseca off. He said that any rumours about his job security haven't reached him at Milanello, the training ground where he continues to live and stay. But it's those supporters in the Curva Sud who had their banner pre-match, reminding Inter of Milan triumphs past. Who can forget the derby when Giroud scored twice, turned the title race on its head? Could this be the turnaround that Paulo Fonseca needs?
Yeah, but Patrick, is all about the attitude. No, AC Milan were under big storm, no, the start of the season. You see the way they started this game is incredible, the energy they're showing.
Christian Pulisic, signed for his ability, not just because he's a marketing dream. And now it's kicking off. Bastoni and Morata, the latter new to Milan, but immediately well aware of what this fixture means.
This is a derby. I think Bastoni, yes, Pulisic was on the ball, it pushed him. Pulisic went down, and then you're gonna see here again some words being thrown in between Bastoni and Morata. I think after this one, Morata went to near Acerbi. The referees here trying to calm down.
Morata, the Spain captain, reigning European champion at international level. Spain side that made very light work of Italy in the summer, lest we forget. An Italy side featuring several Inter players: Di Marco, Bastoni, Barella. Here's Çalhanoğlu. Good switch from Çalhanoğlu. If Dimarco can keep it in play, he can. Dimarco with the cross. This is Dumfries and Lautaro Martinez just got underneath it.
Yeah, this is the big strike from their main striker. It's the first time the Inter is able to do what they always been doing lately with the Simone Inzaghi. Big switch of play for Dimarco. Great ball in. Header from Dumfries and then Lautaro. First touch finish. Far away from the bar. But this is far better from Inter.
It's also significant, not only the Milan lead in the derby, but that they're back scoring in this fixture again. They did get a consolation from Tomori when these teams met on the 22nd of April. A date that many Inter supporters, I'm sure, will be getting inked on their bodies because it's the day they officially secure the 20th Scudetto and with it the second star. But there were a run of matches whereby Inter not only won but kept 4 straight clean sheets too. But Milan look potent again in this new system. It's whether they can sustain it for 90 minutes against Italy's best team. That's why they wear the Scudetto on their shirt.
I think Patrick is all down about the striker's attitude, though. If they're gonna defend like Pulisic is doing this time, they're gonna find joy. Because every time they win the ball back, there will be 4 bodies up front, and this will force Inter to stay at least with 4 men at the back.
Mkhitaryan. Lautaro has found Thuram. Here's Thuram again. And the free kick goes the way of Milan.
Yeah, the referee was close to the action there. He could have spotted if there was something wrong. Look like yes, this is a late fall from Gabi. I think there was one before on the AC Milan players by an Inter player. The referee was there and awarded free kick.
This is, believe it or not, the 3rd derby of the day. The Primavera side, the under-20s, played out 3-1 win to Milan earlier on, which featured a goal from Maximilian Ibrahimovic, son of Redbird senior advisor Zlatan, who's dubbed himself the boss. And earlier on, the women, Inter won, Milan won. So on that basis, 2 derbies down already. Milan have come out on top in one, drawn the other. Might just be their weekend.
Yeah, we never know, but it's glad to see somebody like Fonseca changing things, so surprising, trying to do things brand new, try to end up their 6 losses in a row against Inter, surprising with 4 strikers up front, and this is working so far for the Rossoneri.
Fonseca did say that they try and tweak things game by game based on what the opposition are doing as well. But he's also been very bullish about his work so far at the Milan helm. He said, I'm not interested in seeking explanations or looking for excuses. I do it all over again because I never do anything I don't believe in. That's the courage of his convictions, and his bravery has been rewarded. That's going to be a yellow card for Henrik Mkhitaryan.
Yeah, that's Inter finding some trouble. They usually are so tidy, so clean in the build-up. They're finding difficulties when they lose the ball. Then that's where AC Milan are causing troubles. And here Mkhitaryan had to do it. Ortega was going to drive the ball towards the defense.
Won by Pavard. Cherby needs to be careful. This is Çalhanoğlu. Morata stayed down, and Abraham signalling that it's a head injury. So too Jan Sommer. Good sportsmanship from the Swiss.
Yeah, big long ball towards the Spanish. It's not easy for Inter defenders because both the main strikers, Abraham and Morata, got pace. Here Pavard is watching the ball. I think Morata is trying to put his body in between Pavard and Sommer there. waiting for the ball to come and control. I think is anything wrong here. The Inter players having a word to try to, I think, adjust things.
It's those Milan supporters in the minority this evening. A reminder that yes, these two clubs do share a stadium, but Inter are the home side, and as such they have the majority of the attendance tonight. This was the goal from Pulisic. Talk us through this, Manuel.
I think there is a chance where Çalhanoğlu had to fall Pulisic. Mkhitaryan lost the ball. Then Çalhanoğlu was close to the American. He could have fallen him. Then Acerbi and Pavard were in the box here. That's what they are talking about. I don't think it's an handball at all. But then after this one, there is Çalhanoğlu that can go and tackle Pulisic.
Pulisic making the most of what was just half a chance, nothing more than that. There's no teammate in a more advanced position than him. No one went with him, but nor could the Nerazzurri defenders keep pace with him. Lautaro Martinez clutching his straws there, seeking a handball. Di Marco's ball in. Dumfries round the back. Resuming that duel with Theo Hernandez we've seen in the past, that once prompted a red card for Milan's French fullback.
Yeah, another good ball in is the second one that Di Marco is playing, trying to hit the back post where Dumfries has Theo.
What about Sommer's role in the goal? Looked a bit flat-footed. Could he have come out? Could he have done anything different?
Yeah, probably. I don't know if he was expecting him to strike the ball while he was stretching. I don't know, it was short distance. I don't think he could have done any better, but surely one of the Inter players at the back could have prevented Pulisic to go and score a solo easy goal.
The FIFA Futsal World Cup is ongoing. It was that sort of finish with the toe poke from Christian Pulisic. He's only tasted defeat against Inter since he joined Milan. Good ball from Bastoni. Pavard, good take, clever cross. Thuram was arriving, and the flag goes up for offside.
I think this move can hurt AC Milan. So you can see, overload the wide area. So Theo needs to be careful on Dumfries' position, or on the other side, maybe you're gonna have a midfielder going, so they have to stay tight, and then you have Di Marco and one of the other weak back, Pavard in this occasion, that can go unmarked, because Leao and Pulisic won't follow them.
Simone Inzaghi was well aware of the threat that Milan posed this evening. He said we mustn't think about past derbies. They're obviously great memories, but nostalgia is worth neither goals nor points. It's Milan who have the only goal so far. And whilst we're only midway through the first half, it's Milan who are heading for points in the derby. Reinders. Morata. Fofana. Nice piece of control from Reinders, and he overdid it a little. Dumfries. Lautaro Martinez. Fofana breaking up play and finding Morata. Abraham wants it through the middle. Instead it's down the side. Abraham. Keeping Acerbi at bay. Barella doubles up.
Yeah, well done by good defending by Inter. You can see, I think Morata position is causing problems, because Inter wants to attack and go man against man, but when Morata is dropping deep, Pavard cannot track him.
Youssouf Fofana doing lots of work off the ball, chasing Mkhitaryan there, back down into the left-back position. Inter won't panic. They trailed at Genoa on the opening weekend. Trailed at Monza last weekend. Cleared by Tomori. No team has beaten them yet, not even the great Manchester City under Pep Guardiola. Di Marco coming back. something new with this fixture. In recent times, it's been worth a place in the Champions League final. We've seen Coppa Italia, two-legged semi-finals as well, a Super Cup in Saudi Arabia, a second star back in April. Potentially, it will determine whether Paulo Fonseca will get another opportunity in the Rossoneri dugout. Lecce, the next visitors to this ground for Milan, is coming very soon on Friday. Mkhitaryan, Bastoni, well watched by Emerson Royal, who's had his critics so far. There have been some eyebrows raised as to the fee that Milan spent to bring in the Brazilian. Bastoni for Thuram. Dumfries wasn't interested. That's a goal kick.
Yeah, good defending here by Theo. But it's pretty impressive the distance, Patrick, between AC Milan compartments. The defenders, the two midfielders and the four attacking players are very, very narrow, tight. There is no gap in between the lines that can allow AC Milan Inter players to play in the pockets and cause problems.
One fairly by Pavard, but then straight to Reinders. Bastoni for Mkhitaryan. Now Di Marco. Morata left one in there on Çalhanoğlu. Advantage for the moment. Saying that Çalhanoğlu seemed okay and then continued to react as if to try and trigger a caution for the Milan number 7. We've already seen Mkhitaryan have his name taken. Çalhanoğlu stoked the fires of this rivalry with an Instagram post. He, who's a former Milan player, essentially referenced the fact that Inter now have 20 Scudetti to Milan's 19, and therefore 2 stars plays 1. You get a star for every 10 league titles. Theo Hernandez.
We rarely see Inter struggling like the first 25 minutes so far.
Fofana's ball through. Dumfries colliding there with Rafael Leao, who didn't suggest it was a free kick. Barella can try and switch it for Di Marco. That's exactly what he does, to good effect. Di Marco, here's Lautaro Martinez, and now Di Marco into level. It's one of their own. He'd scored in this fixture before in Saudi Arabia, but now he does it on his home ground. And just before the half-hour mark, the Nerazzurri strike back.
Same old Inter, Patrick. Big switch of play for the main man, Di Marco. Wonderful first touch pass towards his skipper. They might seem they lost the control of the ball, but somehow managed to pass for Dimash again. It was from a tight angle. He found the net, and it's showtime. Look here. Lautaro position is causing problems because Emerson Royal has to be tight. Here Tomori is too deep compared to all his other teammates on the back line. And then Di Marco from there, cannon and doesn't miss. 1-1 in a fantastic derby.
He grew up cheering on Inter in the Curva Nord this evening for the Nerazzurri. He scores in front of the Milan end. And it is now the Inter supporters who are in good voice. And Zlatan Ibrahimovic sees that excellent start from the Rossoneri undone by Di Marco. And dare I say it, whilst we had a big game last evening and a huge rivalry, Juventus against Napoli, this game always tends to deliver. goalless last evening between Thiago Motta and Antonio Conte. Not so tonight between Inter and Milan.
It's the first time that the three stars have been involved. Barella didn't appear for 29 minutes. Then big switch of play for Di Marco. Wonderful first touch pass towards the skipper. Yes, he's not scoring goals so far, by great assist for Di Marco again. And from there, seriously, he's flawless every single time he strikes from there.
It's the second time this month that Di Marco has scored past Mike Maignan. He did so for Italy in Paris at the Parc des Princes. He's done so for Inter at San Siro. And the worrying thing for Milan will be that another Inter player scored in that fixture as well, Davide Fratesi, who also found the net in the 5-1 win for the Nerazzurri last September.
Yeah, but now AC Milan has to stay focused on the game. They don't have to stretch. They have to be narrow. They've been doing great for the first 30 minutes. Now offside has been given against, I think, Lautaro to Ram.
We could all see Di Marco in space on the far side. How easy or difficult is it to hit that big switch like Barella did?
Yeah, with the quality of the footballers that are playing Serie A, and they've got, especially if they got time, Patrick, they all are capable to do that. I think the first touch pass from Di Marco, yes, we can talk hours about the quality on his left foot. We see week in and week out. But I think Lautaro moves made the difference.
Bastoni's won it back high up the pitch. Fofana with an important toe to the ball. Else into pursuing a second there.
Because Patrick has a centre back, like Gabbia. If Lautaro is peeling away from yourself behind your shoulder, Emerson Royal has to stay tight in with yourself. This frees the space for Di Marco, exactly where he received the ball from Barella.
Milan unable to take a leaf out of Manchester City's book and keep a clean sheet against Inter. Very few sides succeed on that score. The concerning thing now for the Rossoneri will be that the goal has come from Di Marco. Inter still boasts August Player of the Month, Thuram, who we saw recognised before kick-off, and Lautaro Martinez. 8 goals in the derby. Mkhitaryan, Çalhanoğlu. Here's Lautaro. Mkhitaryan tried to feed it through. Di Marco. Maignan watched it wide.
Coming from nowhere, this strike. Inter will appear from a fall on his skipper. But now AC Milan needs to show here this one. Yes, his fall. I think the referee gave the advantage. And here the goal. Look this pass, Patrick. First touch pass. Then Lautaro didn't have the best first touch, but then he managed somehow to serve back. But a kind of 1-2 here. 3 players around him. He attracts the pressure. He's left unmarked, Di Marco.
Suddenly Inter in control. Barella fouled. Advantage for Mkhitaryan. Theo Hernandez there to intercept. Milan need to try and settle again. Just losing their way since the equaliser. It's loose from Tomori. Won by Bastoni.
Yeah, but Lautaro, compared to the last appearances, look more lively.
Good ball from Gabbia. Pulisic. Between them, Bastoni and Acerbi got to the ball first. They have several players into now who are Italy internationals, who are very synonymous with the club despite not coming through the academy. Barella is one. He was a product of Cagliari. Bastoni came through Atalanta's youth system. And both of them not just star players for Inter, but seemingly Inter fans too. Di Marco with the cross. There's Maignan to gather.
Yeah, we've seen so many times Di Marco doing that. The first control is special.
Open road for Rangers, needed a better ball for Rafael Leão.
I think here Pavard did brilliantly, because he knew, he realized exactly that Rangers was going to find that ball in the space for Leão, so Leão had to change his run, but this caught Rangers. He was already thinking about playing that pass.
And after the fast start from Milan, Inter have grown into the game, started to take control. Çalhanoğlu, Lautaro Martinez, Di Marco gets there ahead of Emerson Royal. Mkhitaryan. Di Marco picking his head up, away by Gabbia. Abraham stretching Acerbi, but running out of pitch.
Yeah, good job, Acerbi. But that's what we were talking about, the overload on the side areas. Emerson Royal had to go with Bastoni, and Bastoni played Di Marco.
Some big names there. Carlo Ancelotti leading the way, but also some significant names in Inter-club history, Arpad Weiss in particular. Simone Inzaghi very quickly working his way up the list in terms of derby victories. 6 of those 7 have been consecutive. We've not seen too much of Rafael Leão.
Yeah, it's been quiet. I think Dumfries and Pavard are doing a decent job. The main man at the moment for AC Milan is Pulisic. Give him every time the ball, because he's going to create something.
And what have you made of Fofana's performance?
I think he's doing well in the middle of the park, especially Mkhitaryan has been quiet, and we know that he's got a great impact on the derby night. Barella, we just seen him in a big switch of play that led into the goal, but I think AC Milan is doing right, but they need to stay tight as they are doing. You can see the lines, they are all players close to the other. This makes the life difficult for Inter players.
Dumfries, Thuram making the run. Pavard. Abraham wanted a bit more support in the press there. Pavard's ball forward is overhit.
I think Inter needs to be more patient. That's what Inzaghi is saying. Just play, especially because Abraham went to press Sommer, so they lost the man in pressure, defensive duty. They could have done better. They don't have to force things. Just move the ball. You'll find a way to hit AC.
Fofana took a chance and lost the ball. He's caught Dumfries, advantage. Barella for Mkhitaryan. Still Mkhitaryan. He lets fly and the deflection takes it behind for a corner.
And I think probably, yes, Fofana will be booked, but the referee waited too long with the ball in his feet and lost it. Now Inter got a chance here. Too many players, too many touches. This is a challenge on Dumfries.
Bent in by Çalhanoğlu. Headed clear by Abraham. That's Di Marco. And again, clever pass. Bastoni caught the back of Emerson Royal's head. Here goes Pulisic again with the pace. Mkhitaryan. Çalhanoğlu couldn't reach it. Çalhanoğlu. Into threatening. Trying to poke and probe. Çalhanoğlu, blocked by Morata. This is Rafael Leao. Gets it back from Pulisic. It's broken the way of Morata. That's a yellow card for Çalhanoğlu.
Yeah, of course, that's a yellow card, but this is the foul that Çalhanoğlu has to do. Before, earlier, when Pulisic was driving towards his defenders, he realized there was a chance for Morata to do exactly what the American did for the opening goal. He decided to take a one for the team.
Emerson Royal. Milan have lost a bit of their bold approach that we saw at the start of the game, which caught Inter off guard. Paulo Fonseca knows he's 5 minutes away from half-time break when he can presumably try and again effect change. Might be time to turn to plan B or plan C in the hope of surprising Inter once more. Theo Hernandez.
Yeah, I think all the brand new shape by Fonseca caught Inter by surprise. Now look like Simone Inzaghi adjusted things, especially when they've got the ball. Inter now they are overlapping, overloading the wide areas. But AC Milan got only Emerson Royal and Theo Hernandez.
Tammy Abraham has delivered in an Italian derby before. He once scored twice in the Derby della Capitale in a 3-0 Roma win over Lazio. Now he would love to do something similar this evening. His first taste of this fixture. Bastoni. Pavard. Dumfries. Afforded space here, Dumfries. Lautaro Martinez for Marcus Thuram. It's a fabulous save. Di Marco still there. And it will be a corner.
Two chances for Inter, one goal and one outstanding save by Mike Mognon. Here, good ball in, good touch by Lautaro. This is what the big strikers are waiting for a defender to open their legs up and take the space there in between their legs to surprise the goalkeeper. But fantastic goalkeeping by Magnon.
And we saw it on the Di Marco equaliser. It went through Tomori's legs as well. Here's Çalhanoğlu. In by Di Marco. Thuram completely missed his header.
And this is a magnificent chance here. Plenty of celebrities.
Alessandro Matri and Marco Materazzi. Matri and Matrix. It's a bit of a pun there. And an Italian television presenter as well, Alessandro Catalan, for those familiar.
Yeah, massive Inter fan. That was a chance, Patrick, for Thuram. Usually doesn't miss from there. Brilliant ball again.
Well played by Morata, but he did commit a foul prior to darting forward. Çalhanoğlu's gone down, and Maurizio Mariani's saying to Morata to keep calm and carry on.
They're probably telling the referee that was the same foul that Acerbi on Leao, then compared to the one the referee stopped from Morata towards Çalhanoğlu hands. Morata saying it was his hand rather than his elbow.
Milan have already shown resilience this season. Leao was caught by Acerbi, but it was Çalhanoğlu who went down and got the decision. lest we forget, Milan trailed 2-0 against Torino here on the opening weekend, only to score a couple of goals late on. They were behind in Rome against Lazio. Rafael Leao came on and scored, having combined with Tammy Abraham. And it's Theo Hernandez who's conversing with the referee as per the new protocol. Skippers only.
I think, if I read it well, I think the referee said to Theo, please help me, help me with your players. I know the nerves are high. This is a derby, but keep it quiet. Help me.
Bastoni, that's a gorgeous ball. Dumfries. Barella. Theo Hernandez knew what was coming as we move towards added time. Theo's lost it. This is Lautaro Martinez. Fofana did enough, still Lautaro. Teeing up Di Marco. Barella keeps it in play. And Emerson Royal has to put it behind.
Now Inter are putting AC Milan under massive pressure. Lautaro for a second thought about striking, but then he found Di Marco on the opposite way, a couple of crosses in.
A goal for Inter at this stage could be devastating for Milan's morale. We are into just 60 seconds of added time. It's been a hugely entertaining first half. Maignan, Dumfries colliding meantime off the ball. This is where, if you're a Milan defender or even a Rossoneri supporter, you want your goalkeeper to come and dominate. Instead, he's getting toppled by Dumfries. Sent in by Çalhanoğlu, clever flick from Pavard, but no one gambled at the back post.
Yeah, surely one has to attack the back post area. Brilliant flick by Pavard. No danger for AC.
That was the way that Inter scored against Milan in the most recent derby. Acerbi profiting from a flick on. Not so this time around. Plenty more to come in the derby della Madonnina. Christian Pulisic gave Paulo Fonseca's side a superstar inside 10 minutes, a wonderful solo goal. But then Federico Di Marco stepped up. It's his equaliser which has Inter on an even footing. And since then, the Nerazzurri have crept into the ascendancy here. At the break, at the Meazza, Inter 1, Milan 1. derby, Inter against Milan, and it was Inter who were immediately under pressure. Reinders finding Morata. Sommer didn't know too much about tipping it over the top. Then 10 minutes in, Capia won the header, so too did Morata, and Pulisic was quick to get away from Mkhitaryan and Çalhanoğlu, plus Acerbi and Pavard. Close control and a finish that gave Milan the lead. Christian Pulisic silencing San Siro, giving a big boost to Paulo Fonseca. But Inter would respond, the reaction came. Di Marco's ball in. Dumfries back across for Lautaro Martinez. Samori didn't get tight enough, and Maignan happy to see it fly over the top. But then came the equaliser. Barella with the big switch. Di Marco for Lautaro. It would find its way back to Di Marco, and he found the corner just before the half-hour mark, the Nerazzurri level. And it was Federico Di Marco with that trusty left foot of his to undo all of Milan's excellent work. Inter might have then taken the lead. This was Marcus Thuram turning well. Maignan with some superb reflexes, and Emerson Royal made sure that Di Marco couldn't follow up. That's why it's level at the break. Inter 1, Milan 1. Luca, there's the goal. Turn from Carlos Augusto, and Dumfries with the equaliser.
Let's go sport!
Fonseca is holding his own here at the Meazza, but he knows a draw might not necessarily be enough to keep him in situ with the Rossoneri. Lots of names are being touted to replace him. Several domestic options now. So far, Milan are holding Inter, courtesy of an early goal from Pulisic, cancelled out by Di Marco. Great record in this fixture for Simone Inzaghi, trying to make it 7 wins on the spin in the Derby della Madonnina. So far this season, Inter have drawn more games than they have won. And they start this second half in the derby level against Milan. What happens next, Manuel Pascali?
We don't know, Patrick. I'm sure both managers work on what has not been working in the first half, especially Inter. We're going to see, Simone Inzaghi is a master of that, assessing problems and try to solve them.
One by Emerson Royal, cleverly done by Morata. That's Reinders for Fofana. Now Pulisic. No changes for the second half, incidentally. Emerson Royal with the cross. It's a good one too! And Sommer makes the save to keep out Rafael Leao. Still Emerson Royal, standing up across. Abraham attacked it. And Acerbi gets a free kick.
Not a bad start for AC Milan. Wonderful ball in by Emerson Royal. And this is a ball header, maybe to central. Dumfries late. Leao made his first impact. But tonight for AC Milan, that's a good save from Sommer.
Sommer at full stretch to keep out Rafael Leao. Did score twice in a derby in the past. That was the first derby after Milan were champions. 3-2 victory when he really turned on the star. We've not seen something similar since from him in this fixture. Sommer with a huge mistake there, and Abraham wants a penalty. The assistant is holding fire because I'm sure the video assistant referee will want a second look at this.
Yeah, but Patrick, we are always, of course, we say, I cannot remember what was the incident. Every time you play the ball, you're obviously, your dynamics bring you to move the leg with the one you're touching the ball. No, this is natural.
Sommer with a heavy touch, he then cleared the ball, but his follow-through clearly takes him into Tammy Abraham. In the pre-VAR era, this was just a throw-in to Milan. There was absolutely no chance of this being awarded as a penalty. We have, though, especially in Italy, seen instances such as these lead to penalties. That end of the ground, I remember one featuring Barella against Genoa last season.
I remember this season was Como, I think, involved with the Juve, probably Nicolussi Caviglia was involved.
Zlatan Ibrahimovic hopeful here. Javier Zanetti, the Inter vice president, concerned.
Was Nicolussi Caviglia with Venezia?
Milan Venezia, yeah. A goal which was disallowed for Venezia because they went back to award a second yellow card to Hans Nicolussi Caviglia for leading with the studs. The Italy head coach is here, former Inter boss as well. Luciano Spalletti looking well, certainly in a stronger position after those 2 wins in the Nations League against France and Israel. Simone Inzaghi looking concerned. Abraham has received treatment. But that was all of Sommer's own making there, and Theo Hernandez is a bit put out, but a penalty's not been awarded.
Is Ausilio as well. Yeah, I remember well the fall on Nicolussi Caviglia after he passed the ball, collided with the AC Milan player leg. The second yellow was awarded, I think.
Pier Ausilio into sporting director. Abraham was brave there. Sommer ordinarily so accomplished with his feet. Occasionally, though, he is prone to mistakes. We saw one on the opening weekend at Genoa when he allowed Vogliacco to score. Nicely done by Morata. Emerson Royal with the cross. Came back off Bastoni. Here's Emerson again, who's had a good game. Certainly going forward. Gabbia. Last touch was off Emerson.
Yeah, but Patrick, as in the first half, in the second half as well, AC Milan started on the front foot. Massive chance for Leao.
That's better from Sommer, finding Barella. Here he is again. Always seeking out Di Marco. He's found him too. Di Marco. Mkhitaryan. Çalhanoğlu considered a shot. Certainly the Curva Nord wanted him to unleash. Dumfries eased out by Theo Hernandez, who wins the free kick.
Yeah, brilliant by Theo. Always a great duel to watch between these two players. Here Theo uses his experience to gain a fall in front of the linesman. Here we go.
Alberto Tegoni on that far side. It was Daniele Bindoni who wisely just delayed the taking of the throw in there after Abraham had gone down. Sommer got enough of the ball. There was an incident with Sommer as well last season in Florence as well, coming out to punch where he got the ball, but his follow-through took him into a Fiorentina player, and that was a penalty which was awarded. He went on and saved that penalty.
Yeah, I remember it was last gasp of the game. Yeah, there was an accident play with plenty of doubts about.
Inter haven't had things all their own way this season. They toiled at Monza last weekend. That was the Sunday night match as well. Nearly lost that game, fell behind to a superb header from Danny Motta. Needed an equaliser off the bench from Dumfries. And it's not like the Nerazzurri have been peppering Magnan's goal this evening. A shot on the turn from Thuram went close, but beyond from Inter. Away by Gambia, won by Lautaro Martinez. Fofana does the tidying up. There was a good statistic the lead up to this game about goals in this calendar year in the league. Inter top the charts, unsurprisingly. Reigning champions with 56 in the goals for column. Fofana under pressure. Milan were just 3 behind. The big difference, though, Inter had conceded 17 league goals in 2024 to Milan's 35.
Yeah, incredible. Going by the player performance, I think Fofana is doing a fantastic job when Inter got the ball, putting players under pressure. It's not the tightest when they got the ball.
Acerbi. Çalhanoğlu. Bastoni. Easy enough for Emerson Royal, but he's given it away. Barella riding the challenge. Inter appear to have more viable options on the bench, the likes of Zielinski and Meditaremi, amongst others. For Milan, there is Loftus-Cheek lying in wait. Jovic and Okafor. Di Marco's cross, easily dealt with by Fofana.
Yeah, from a throw-in here, Bastoni. Remember, Inter scored against Atalanta. Thuram bringing up the big lad. Pavard is in the box as well.
scored a couple of goals against Atalanta from this sort of position, long throw. Bastoni launches it in. It's dropped the way of Mkhitaryan, out by Tomori, and then smashed clear by his childhood friend Tammy Abraham. And who was there on the scene? Barella.
Yeah, that wasn't an easy touch from Barella, especially considering that it was with his left foot under pressure by two of the quickest players in Serie A, Theo and Leao.
Pavard, good ball for Thuram. Dumfries on the move. Thuram's cross. Di Marco winding up. Now Çalhanoğlu, easily gathered by Maignan.
Yeah, good technique. Maignan immediately tried to serve Rafael Leao. His bike, good technique as always by Çalhanoğlu. Was maybe worthy to lose the 50-50 challenge and let AC Milan counter again.
That has been a ploy that Milan have used in the past. Maignan's distribution, route one towards either Leao or Theo Hernandez. Di Marco, clever ball. Lautaro Martinez couldn't get there. And Maignan's had a good game.
Yeah, there was a cheeky movement from Mkhitaryan that dragged off his position Gabbia. And then unusually Di Marco, I think, didn't find the perfect pass for Lautaro.
10 minutes gone in the second half. Simone Inzaghi sure relieved to see that opportunity for Rafael Leao early on, kept out by Jan Sommer. Fine save from the former Switzerland goalkeeper. Theo Hernandez. Morata was clattered there by Pavard. Certainly lets you know what he thinks, Alvaro Morata. Tomori. In to go to Udine next, no longer top of the pile. Udinese, they were well beaten earlier on by Roma in Ivan Juric's first game in charge. But there is a chance here for Inter to go top of the pile, lest we forget, after Juventus and Napoli played out a goalless draw last night. The tea-time kick-off, Inter would go up to 11 points, the same tally as Torino. That's why Paolo Vanoli was coach of the month for August.
Yeah, he's doing a terrific job for Torino. The big Zapata doing well, being on the score sheet alongside Che Adams. The victory the weekend.
Torino, the next visitors to this stadium for Inter, the other side of their game against Crvena Zvezda. Team from Belgrade, formerly known as Red Star. Then again, in Italy they still call them Stella Rossa. Milan's next European assignment is a trip to Bayer Leverkusen, German champions.
Usually they have to take some points, especially after losing at home against Liverpool. Won't be easy against Xabi Alonso team.
Hard to know just how many points the side will need to make the playoffs of the new look Champions League. Rafael Leao, fair challenge by Pavard, so he thought. Milan free kick.
I think Lautaro had the chance to play one-touch ball towards one of his teammates, but then he went and switched play towards Pavard. Not the most perfect pass he would love to make, and here the challenge. Fair enough, I think it's a foul, even if he touched slightly the ball.
Theo Hernandez. feel some sympathy with Paulo Fonseca, because this result in isolation would be very good given what's gone before. Milan desperate to end the run of consecutive defeats in the Derby della Madonnina. The problem is, came into this match with just 5 points to their name, having already risked defeat against Torino, went close to losing at Lazio, Maignan under pressure, and they did lose at Parma. Had Milan come into this match not necessarily on maximum points but with a higher tally, he might have been forgiven. Reinders injecting some pace, still Reinders. Now it's Abraham for Emerson Royal. It was just between the goal and the Milan players.
Patrick, this is an amazing ball from Emerson Royal, like he did at the start of the second half. Look here, great run by Tijani Reinders. Look Leao, just gamble it, sprint towards the second post, and will you just header it? That was a great ball.
Then Emerson seeming to intimate exactly that as to why Rafael Leao didn't continue his run and take a chance on the ball being played into that area. We saw the Milan senior management, Zlatan Ibrahimovic's role, which has caused a bit of confusion amongst the media as to what exactly he does. It was put to him by former Milan players Zvonimir Boban in midweek as to what his role entailed. Zlatan said, "I'm the boss." Just a succinct answer, but not particularly telling in terms of detail. Lautaro Martinez, Mkhitaryan, Di Marco, now Barella, Mkhitaryan, Çalhanoğlu wanted it to feed, the ball didn't come. Bastoni, nice give and go, lovely football this. Di Marco, great challenge from Gabbia.
Wonderful challenge by Gabbia, but lovely football by Inter. I think Çalhanoğlu should have took an extra touch instead of playing this ball into Di Marco. It was free, but here Gabbia had to go all in.
Inter turning up the heat. Çalhanoğlu with the corner. That's Thuram waiting. Well played, Maignan.
Brilliant by Mike Maignan, passing his area. Look here, because Thuram was ready to smash it. The bullet header. Here Tomori, not happy. Inter players were unhappy. Here Thuram as well.
The replay seemed to suggest that Maignan touched it onto the forehead of Thuram. So the Inter player got the last touch. I think they've made the right call there. But we saw Ibrahimovic flanked by the other two members of the Rossoneri triumvirate, Geoffrey Moncada and Giorgio Furlani, who's the CEO. Time for a couple of Italy internationals, past and present. Darmian not involved in September, Fratesi certainly was. Mkhitaryan unable to add to his goal tally in this fixture. And Dumfries also coming off, along with Çalhanoğlu. It's Çalhanoğlu who makes way for Christian Aslani.
Yeah, two players under caution, Çalhanoğlu and Mkhitaryan. Off for Aslan and Fratesi, and plus Darmian, fresh legs, plus a player that loves to poke a goal. Fratesi always a danger in the last 16 yards.
Fratesi's first into goal came in this fixture. And at the end of the ground, the Nerazzurri are currently attacking. Forward by Maignan. Morata with the flick. This is Abraham. Now Fofana. Abraham calling for it. Teo Hernandez decided against the ball over the top. Rafael Leao. That's better. Fofana. Back towards Rafael Leao. He's away from Pavard. Rafael Leao coming inside. And Reinders. Good save, Sommer.
Wonderful save by Sommer, because the shot has been deflected, but this man, like a spider, saved it. Again, Leao away from Pavard. Darmian is helping him. They find a way to to serve. Rangers, deflection by Bastoni. Good save again by the Swiss.
It's an even better stop because of the deflection from Bastoni. Sent it towards the corner when the initial effort was fairly central. And it is an open game, the derby. Doesn't look like it's going to end one each. That's the current scoreline. Teo Hernandez takes the corner. Lautaro Martinez took a chance, he's given away a penalty. The Inter skipper has handled, and Milan have the chance from 12 yards to retake the lead in the derby.
Drama here in San Siro. Surely we're gonna have a look. Think pad, shoulder.
Lautaro leant into it, it caught his shoulder. Inter already wanted Milan's opening goal to be disallowed. Christian Pulisic. That was as much shoulder as it was forearm. This appears to be the identical part of the anatomy. Lautaro was confident. Maurizio Mariani has been summoned to the pitchside monitor by Alejandro Di Paolo. It takes just a couple of looks to see the error of his ways, and the penalty does not stand. And Inter say justice is served. Lautaro now unhappy that the referee couldn't spot it live.
Yeah, correct decision by the VAR. Here the boss watching. Don't know why Fonseca is not happy, but this is fair. Took just a second to realize there was not penalty.
Di Marco with the driven ball for Fratesi. Did seem very unlike Lautaro Martinez to gamble unless he was absolutely sure. His technique is typically flawless. Milan going well in this portion of the game from the hour mark onwards. Kings of scoring beyond the hour are Antonio Conte's Napoli side. Certainly helped by them clocking up plenty in Sardinia, plus the late comeback against Parma.
Yeah, 4 goals in 4 games is not bad. We're gonna see if there will be drama in the last 25 minutes.
The good news is we have VAR technology these days, because in the past that might have decided a derby and it would have been a rather iconic moment, but for the wrong reasons. An infamous decision. Instead it's just a footnote this evening. Bastoni. Lautaro couldn't control. Well watched by Tomori. Reinders. Lovely ball that. And Abraham tried to connect. Morata did, but he was off balance.
Wonderful ball in, played by Reinders. Sweet right foot, and here transition for Inter.
Game is very stretched now. Milan conscious that they can win this game. Inter don't seem overly fussed about playing for a draw either. Yellow card has been shown here for Simone Inzaghi.
Yeah, probably for dissent, maybe the penalty decision.
Bastoni. Acerbi. Good ball that for Pavard. Fratesi wanted it, said it's Thuram. Back with Pavard. Marcus Thuram once more. Darmian was there. Thuram with the trickery. No foul by Teo Hernandez. The referee well positioned. Rafael Leao for Morata. Milan on the counter. Pulisic. Di Marco catching up to him and winning the ball.
Brilliant by Di Marco. Man of the match so far, alongside probably Pulisic. That's why Inter, I think, needs to do overlap the wide areas like they were doing recently.
Fratesi, easy for Tomori to intercept. Reinders, Fofana, Morata between the lines. Rafael Leao away to his left. Here he is now. Rafael Leao shaping inside and straight at the keeper.
Looking obviously for the far post. Tried to do what Eldis did in the midweek, or Del Piero was doing late 90s.
And Rafael Leao did it famously in that 3-2 win, leaving De Vrij and Skriniar for dust. Here's Acerbi. Another indication, more evidence of Inter's rotations. Acerbi popping up at left centre-back. Here he is now. Di Marco. Aslani. Patient this time. Acerbi. Bastoni. Lautaro calling for it. Bastoni with the cross. Lautaro Martinez was waiting. Good header. Now Rafael Leao, whose interest in this match is growing. Leao. Dispossessed by Fratesi fairly. Lautaro Martinez. Aslani. Acerbi joining in. Bastoni with the ball in. Pavard is unmarked. Pavard. Easy for Tomori again.
Yeah, better first touch for Pavard. Give yourself the chance to put a decent ball in.
Barella. Again, time and space for Bastoni. That's a better ball, Lautaro Martinez. Saved by Maignan. Di Marco now. Milan wanted a flag, it didn't come. Still no goal for Lautaro this season.
Brilliant strike, by the way. First touch, strike. Great connection by here Inter. I think realize where they can hurt AC Milan with the crosses.
Again, it's Bastoni. Nice give and go with Di Marco. Bastoni's cross, flicked on by Lautaro. But Teo there to collect it. And here come Milan, Teo Hernandez. No real urgency about Rafael Leao.
I think they had the chance to go. Look like they're a bit tired at the moment. Even Rafael Leao, we've seen him so many times driving the ball with pace.
Manuel, we've been critical about Milan this season. Would you say this is their best performance of the campaign so far?
Yes, especially considering the previous 6 derbies where they were outplayed every single one. People were talking about maybe a mind problem. No, now they're doing well, and now they need maybe to find the goal they were hoping for, to give the fan and themselves a joy.
Good footwork from Tijani Reinders. Abraham was interested momentarily. Emerson Royale. Morata appeared to have run offside. Inter want the flag. Morata reluctantly crosses. Here's Rafael Leao. Not sure it would have counted.
Yeah, surely the player with his quality needs to produce something more, and here the strike. Wonderful. Too central, probably. Plenty of power now for Maignan now, and the substitution.
Haven't seen much movement on the Milan bench. Inter have already made a triple substitution. They're now going further than that, drawing Nicolo Barella. And Zielinski gets his first taste of the Milan derby.
Was brilliant, different class in the midweek game against the English champion City. And now you never know, with his quality from distance, his technical ability to shoot from distance can make the difference.
sure the Rossoneri will be starting to tire. Paulo Fonseca picked this team. He's been encouraged by the display he's got out of his players. Seems to be reluctant to tweak things though. Bastoni, clever dummy from Lautaro Martinez. Here he is again. Gabbia got in there well. Reinders meantime for Morata, and now Tammy Abraham. Acerbi trying to hold him. Abraham for Rafael Leao, and there's Sommer again. Not for the first time this evening.
Brilliant by Sommer. Wonderful save. And there, let's underline Gabbia tackle. Magnificent again from an underrated centre-back.
What a derby this is. We've still got a quarter of an hour to go, plus added time. Di Marco, Zielinski. And perhaps Luciano Spalletti is looking at Gabbia. Ibrahimovic said at the start of the season that he felt Gabbia was unlucky not to be selected as part of the Italy squad for Euro 2024. His display tonight has been encouraging. Clever ball from Lautaro, but Tomori read it well. Pavard. Back the way it came by Reinders. Darmian. Reinders finding Maignan.
Yeah, that was an intelligent dummy from Lautaro. Here we're gonna probably appreciate again Sommer save. You would fancy Leao to score from there. Wonderful job made again by Abraham. Was doing well with the Rossoneri jersey so far.
There was talk of Paulo Fonseca being dismissed even if Milan were to win this evening, but such has been the performance, and the big moments haven't necessarily gone the Rossoneri's way. If Rafael Leao scores there, Milan are back in front. Perhaps Paulo Fonseca feels a bit aggrieved that his players aren't necessarily making the most of their chances. That's why he's turning to Loftus-Cheek and Okafor, the latter renowned for scoring goals as a substitute. But after this display, provided Inter don't go on and get a winner, surely Paulo Fonseca can say to Ibrahimovic, there are tangible improvements here.
Yeah, of course, Patrick. New boss, new players, coaches needs time, but he's doing well. Not scared to take no risks, big risks for strikers on the park.
Emerson Royal, Reinders with the disguise. This is Tammy Abraham, who's missed.
That's the chance the AC Milan could regret all night. Luca Acerbi fell completely asleep. From there, Abraham needs to hit the target.
The Milan reaction tells its own story there, from teammates to members of backroom staff and the player himself. Abraham spurns the opportunity, but Noah Okafor, 6 goals as a substitute, starting from last season, his first with the Rossoneri, has come on for Pulisic, scorer of Milan's only goal this evening, but on another night, but for Sommer, and had it not been for some wastefulness in front of goal, maybe Inter might have conceded 2 or perhaps 3.
You know, being a great manager or a bad manager is a fine line, no, Patrick. If maybe AC Milan are gonna concede tonight, what can you tell Fonseca? So many chances for the Rossoneri.
And here come Inter, beating the press. Marcus Thuram. Bastoni takes over. Milan have now got numbers back. Zielinski. And it was Abraham, while still a Roma player, along with Roger Ibanez, that scored a couple of late goals here that started to see Pioli's Milan unravel. Darmian with the ball in. Reinders didn't deal with it. Emerson Royal did. And then he was caught by Bastoni.
Yeah, you need a better delivery. Especially, yeah, you're getting tired. But there were plenty of interplays in the box.
Which was the bigger chance? Rafael Leao saved by Sommer or Abraham dragging it wide?
I think Tammy Abraham looked the biggest one, especially because there sometimes you see it the target, maybe the goalkeeper is wrong-footed and you find the net.
The Inter team manager is ready with the board. They do still have one substitution and one slot left. It's a triple change, plus the withdrawal of Barella. Who's your money on? Mehdi Taremi?
Yeah, probably. Taremi was doing well since he signed for Inter. We'll see, he's got the Arnautovic option as well, but I can see maybe the skipper being dropped. We're gonna see.
Thuram so keen to keep up his superb record in the derby. 2 goals in as many matches. It was Romelu Lukaku of Inter, scored in 5 straight derbies to start. It's going to be Carlos Augusto. Could be any number of players, from Bastoni to Di Marco, perhaps even Acerbi. We shall see. Gabbia. Loftus-Cheek beaten to it by Acerbi. Zielinski.
Don't know if Inzaghi is probably worried about Oka for pace, huh? Maybe he wants to drop to some Bastoni or Di Marco that was struggling lately for fitness.
Pavard. Lautaro Martinez for Darmian. Aslani. Zielinski, clever ball. Emerson Royal got a call from his goalkeeper that he had Di Marco behind him.
That was an interesting ball after a good, clever move by Zielinski.
It is Bastoni, so Carlos Augusto, as he frequently does, will play at left centre-back.
Yes, he tried to match here Walter Samuel, probably, yes, the wall behind there. Sitting in the stand, yeah, so he'll try to match Oka for pace.
Inter are champions, and it would be so like the Nerazzurri to find a winner now, making the most of Milan missing big opportunities. Thuram. Inter all out of substitutions. Aslani. Now Carlos Augusto. Carlos Augusto checked his progress. Easy enough for Milan to watch it behind.
There Di Marco went for automatic pass. He thought, as usual, that Carlos Augusto was going to overlap him. And yeah, pretty sure, yes, 8 minutes to go plus injury times, but I think the AC Milan fans will be happy with this performance.
Chukwueze on the way. Saw Morata there, who was part of the Milan substitution when Loftus-Cheek came on, along with Okafor. Fratesi defending the ball well. Now he's found Thuram. Thuram away from Fofana. Gabbia made sure it didn't reach Lautaro Martinez. Gabbia can carry it. Reinders is more adept at doing that. Here he is now, the Dutchman. Loftus-Cheek. Options away to his left. Loftus-Cheek with the cross. Given away by Fratesi. This is Emerson and Abraham. Didn't really connect. Abraham again. That's a good ball. Rafael Leao. Okafor. Snatched at it.
Yeah, I think Loftus-Cheek had the chance to play first touch the ball in here. The ball could have ended anywhere. Okafor knows that. Gabbia is
cramp for Gabbia.
Brilliant performance.
And again, courageous call from Paulo Fonseca to bring in Gabbia, because did spend big on Strahinja Pavlovic in the summer. For the moment, it's Gabbia in the big game, partnering Tomori. Pulisic and Di Marco amongst the 4 candidates for player of the match, the 2 goal scorers. Not just Chukwueze, it is going to be Pavlovic after we saw Gabbia struggling there physically. Big moments these in Milan's season. Pivotal minutes potentially in the career of Paulo Fonseca as a coach. Di Marco. Tomori takes charge, and then gives it away. Pavard, he's lost it. Here goes Rafael Leao. Okafor is interested, so too Loftus-Cheek. Pavard there to intercept and then give it away. Finally takes no chances, long by Sommer. Tomori kept his eye on it. Fofana fouled by Aslani. And a card as well.
Yeah. Pavard didn't look like the usual one, looked a bit shaky at the back, lost a couple of balls on the bounce. Didn't see much about Frattesi as well since he came on.
That's why he was shown a yellow card, Aslani. It was more for the nature of the challenge than the area of the pitch. The stunts were showing. Rafael Leao taken off. He's not overly happy about the decision, but he didn't deliver when Milan needed him this evening. Chukwueze has the chance to do that in what remains. Emerson Royal. Fofana makes a hurry by Thuram. Milan free kick.
Yeah, the Okafor went on the other side on the left. Here we go.
Okafor for Theo Hernandez. Sommer's pushed it straight to Loftus-Cheek. Reinders. Still with Reinders. Into getting bodies in the way. That's handball by Thuram, surely. Referee says his arm was down by his side.
I think it was handball, Patrick, I agree with you.
Simone Inzaghi looking a little bit tense and agitated in his technical area. We don't often see that. Loftus-Cheek caught by Di Marco. Another yellow card in a flurry of cautions.
Patrick, I cannot remember Inter giving away so many chances like they did in this game. I cannot remember that, because chances for AC Milan were so many. 3, 4, 5, and this one is another one. I cannot remember Inter being so shaky at the back.
Sommer's long-term replacement is already at the club, Josep Martinez, but the way he's playing tonight, Sommer looks like the number 1 jersey is his for at least a season more. Will he be tested here? Reinders sends it in, great ball, and Matteo Gabbia has scored for Milan. We saw him down with cramp, but the set piece is all important for the Rossoneri. And with just 2 minutes remaining, Gabbia might have kept Fonseca in a job.
Football is so beautiful. From a non-sung hero, Gabbia with a fantastic performance. Incredible from AC Milan. Brilliant ball in. A bullet header on the front post area. The first man has been beaten by Gabbia. Surprise Inter defense to maybe give AC Milan deserved 3 points here behind Frattesi. Wonderful header. Sommer cannot do anything.
Reinders with the ball in, Gabbia with the late run. And for once, Sommer was not getting near it. They led early on, now they lead late. Can Milan get over the line?
Wonderful header by Gabbia. So happy for this man. Went back from emergency loan last season, and he was one of the most consistent players at the back.
All the talk about the Inter Academy product. Federico Di Marco, it's one from the Rossoneri youth system now. Gabbia with the goal. Nice switch there for Carlos Augusto. Can Inter respond again? Emerson Royale's had a good game in the absence of Calabria through injury.
It's all about the delivery. Even Rangers' ball was incredible.
We're into 6 added minutes. Carlos Augusto long, away by Rangers, but not convincingly so. Lautaro Martinez getting the bounce of the ball against Theo Hernandez and winning a corner.
And now Inter will try everything to keep this run going. Don't lose the first game of the season.
Milan had chances, they finally took one. Needed a set piece. Inter have one of those. Aslani with the corner, Thuram attacking it. Emerson was fouled.
Yeah, you mentioned another brilliant performance by Emerson Royale. And here, Fonseca. We're gonna see if he's gonna put an extra defensive player or call off Gabbia. It looked like he was struggling a bit before scoring the goal.
Pavlovic was already on his way. So too was Gabbia there. Perfect delivery from Tijani Reinders. And into the corner it went.
Yeah, well deserved by AC Milan so far. Too much gap in between the first man of the defensive line, Fratesi, and the second one. Gabbia spotted the room, attacked with the fire, desire, will, and scored.
Instead, Milan are going to shore things up. Pavlovic coming on for Abraham. I'm sure will have breathed a sigh of relief there, because whereas he missed, Gabbia scored. Pavlovic's job is very simple. Make sure Milan don't concede in the last 4 minutes. Chukwueze rising. Cherby got there. Chukwueze's won it. Zielinski has it back. Inter struggling to get out now. Milan pressing with their substitutes. No one saw this coming. Perhaps there is truth in that old adage that the form book goes out of the window, that you just can't necessarily ever predict a derby scoreline. The last time Milan won, more than 2 years ago, the 3rd of September 2022, a 3-2 win. They were the reigning champions at that time. It's now Inter who wear the Scudetto, but Inter are staring down the barrel of a first league defeat. First loss of any kind this season.
Yeah, but Patrick, for what we've seen tonight, credit to this man being brave in a decisive moment. You know, everybody was already talking about new coach, new managers. Doesn't listen. Put 4 strikers in, creates so many chances. He find at the end the goal he was hoping for.
Away by Acerbi, Zielinski. This is Di Marco, and it's very hard to disagree with this scoreline. The big opportunities have fallen to Milan. They haven't taken all of them, but they have found the net twice, and they have the ball again with Chukwueze. It's come off Di Marco and broken the way of Okafor. There might be a third yet for Milan. Okafor made the wrong call. He had Chukwueze and Loftus-Cheek in support. And Abraham unhappy that the Rossoneri aren't chasing back. Di Marco. Zielinski. Di Marco's cross, there's a free header for Darmian.
Yes, because Carlo Augusto moved, dragged Gabbia, you can see him there. Lautaro is in between Gabbia and Tomori. Here, obviously, Abraham and Gabbia doing the Mazzarri, no? How long is left?
Gabbia wants the full-time whistle, it's still 90 seconds away. Simone Inzaghi is so often the undisputed king of the dugout on this ground. Looks like he's being usurped this evening by Paulo Fonseca, who wasn't only being criticised, he was being mocked in some quarters. But this is the perfect response from him. The ideal reaction from Milan, but the job is not complete. Simone Inzaghi wants a quick ball. Di Marco takes the throw, Inter are running out of time. Aslani. Di Marco, it's done very well. Still Di Marco. Headed clear by Tomori. Chukwueze has found Okafor. Loftus-Cheek with him, Reinders there as well, Okafor. Feeding Reinders, Sommer will get there. Has he kept it in play? He has. Theo Hernandez boots it into touch. Along by Pavard, the 6 minutes are up. Thuram wins the flick on, away by Emerson Royale. Milan want the full-time whistle. There's still time for a third, 2 against 1 here. Chukwueze with Okafor in support. Chukwueze, Okafor, he's missed. They should have killed off the game, they haven't. After 2 years, Milan win the derby. 6 straight defeats give way to victory for Paulo Fonseca at the first time of asking in the Derby della Madonnina. Reinders teeing up Gabbia for the winner. Milan spurned several opportunities, but in the end the scoreline reflects their dominance tonight. Simone Inzaghi's Inter for once outplayed, and Paulo Fonseca has given his job prospects a huge boost. He's given Milan's season a real lift. It ends at San Siro. Inter 1, Milan 2.